Alright, boys, welcome to the first episode of Raw Take. And in these episodes, we're just gonna, talk raw and just give my authentic advice on how you can go about your life from things I've learned and the things that I've been through and the things that I'm struggling with right now as well. So, yeah, today we're gonna talk about how building muscle wouldn't make you confident automatically, because a lot of people think, a lot of young people, obviously, a lot of young men think that building muscle automatically makes you confident for some reason. Yes, it can change your self-image, which is just one part of it, but it won't automatically make you confident, and I'll explain why in just a little bit, right? I can tell you with 8 years of building muscle, going to the gym regularly for 8 years, I can tell you that building muscle really didn't affect my confidence at all. And if you think that building muscle is like this magic potion that you're gonna drink and automatically it's gonna make you, the most charming, the most confident guy out there, you've got it wrong, bro. You only got it half right? So what building muscle really does is get your foot through the door, get your foot in the door. Sorry, because in any situation, whether it be business or relationships, it will get your foot in the door and let people know, hey, I'm here. People won't look past you, if that makes sense. Some people just get ignored, and in this life, obviously, society literally just ignores them just because they're scrawny, or they don't have that big of uh, aura to them, if that makes sense. So they get ignored, and if you have muscle on your frame, people will take you seriously, but the thing is, you need to back it up with your personality. You need to back it up with your charisma, your persuasion skills, your communication skills. Otherwise, you're not gonna get far. And whether it be fitness wise or relationship wise, it'll get you more respect from people, definitely, if you have muscle on your frame. But the thing is, you need to have everything else dialed in, like your charisma, your persuasion, your communication skills, and your communication skills need to be at a really high level, because when it comes to business settings and things of this nature, you need to be able to communicate effectively and negotiate and things of this nature, right? And the thing is, you're not alone in this. A lot of people go through this where they're they get into the gym where they're I want to build muscle and be confident, right? That's why everyone gets into it, thinking that they'll get laid or something like that. But in reality, if you don't work on your personality as well as much, your personality will get built up as you age. So when you get to your mid-20s, like me, or when you get to your late 20s, you probably built up a good level of self-esteem and a good personality on yourself. But the thing is, building muscle won't automatically grant you that, So you need to work on those things as well. And the thing is, everything can be worked on, right? It's a self-development journey. So you can work on these things so that you can get to the next level, within the space of a matter of months. If you practice diligently and you're disciplined and things of this nature, right? Just like going to the gym, just like building muscle, you can train on these things like charisma, communication skills, negotiating skills, persuasion skills. All this can be trained, and everything combined will get you to your goal where you're being confident, right? Everything combined. It needs to be a multidisciplinary sort of thing, and you need to have that multidisciplinary sort of vision to see that as well. So you shouldn't be one dimensional and be okay, I'm going to the gym to build muscle and I'm being confident, right? That's only one part of it. So self-image is just one part of it, self-esteem is just one part of it, and it just gets boosted up when you charisma, and you're charismatic, sorry, and you're persuasive, and you have these negotiating skills and things of this nature, right? Now, if this was a world where no one spoke a word, and everyone judged everyone based off of their body language, then obviously you would be confident in that sense, right? So like, if you go on the road and like you just see someone from afar and he has like a lot of muscle and like he walks like this way and things like that, you automatically think that he's confident. But when he starts speaking, and you sound like a wuss when you start speaking, you sound like a pussy, and like no one's gonna take you seriously. After that, you just because first impressions mean a lot. Like after the first impression, like it's really hard to change the opinion that you have about someone to like the new version of you. You know, so like you need to make sure that you leave a good first impression on people. Um, but that's not to say like you can't change yourself and like you can't level up and like so in some instances it can be even better. Like on people's like impression, like like say like you went to high school with this kid and like you never talked to him before, like you never talked to him in a long time, and you talk to you post yourself after like a few years of training and things like that, and like they get to see you after like a few years of training, and you've completely changed yourself, and like your charisma is off the charts, and like your confidence is skyrocketed. Then obviously like that will be like, fuck, like this guy's changed a lot, you know so like that's good. But like in most instances, especially like in business instances, in business meetings and things like that, like you need to have a good first impression. And I'm speaking from experience, right, like like I'm not the most confident person that you'll ever meet, because like I haven't worked on myself as much as I should have. you know Obviously I spent like a good portion of my life going after muscle and like building the most aesthetic body and things like that, but I'm not like at the level that I want to be at, which is why I'm making this video. So that I can give you guys some actionable tips on like what's worked for me so far, and like maybe because I might be like just one step ahead of you in terms of like building muscle and like things like that, but like I'm trying to give you guys like some actionable advice that you can take away from this video and apply it into your own lives, right? And to get to the next level, like I'm practicing my communication skills, my negotiating skills and whatnot, like whenever I can. But obviously like you don't get as many instances in this like world where everyone's isolated, and like you really need to get out and like even go for a run or whatever, and you meet some people and like you talk and whatever, right? But like in this isolated world, like where everything's like so disconnected, where everything's connected to social media but everything's actually disconnected in real life, um it's very hard to like for a young person to get into social situations unless you're like going out like clubbing or whatever, you know so and even then that's not like a good place to like practice your communication skills, because it's like there's so much static and there's so much noise, and like that wouldn't be like an ideal place that I would consider myself going to practice my communication skills. It's good if you don't like cold approaches and things like that, which I do recommend sometimes. Like obviously like if you want to find a significant other or like whatever, you need to get over that hump of like talking to people and like like expressing yourself. This is all to say like what am I trying to tell you, right? Am I telling you to stop building muscle? Am I telling you to stop going to the gym just because I said so? Like just because I said it doesn't matter what you look like. No, it obviously does matter what you look like, right? All I'm saying is it's just half of the equation, right, when it comes to like being confident, right? But building muscle comes with immense benefits, right? Like obviously you get the health benefits, and then you get the social benefits. Obviously the social validation that you get from being jacked. Most people love that. Most people crave that. As humans, we all crave like social validation and things of this nature, right? And I admit, like I'm one of them as well. Like I do things for like social validation and whatnot, right? But as I said, like any mature person without being shallow, would judge you on two things, right? Your personality and your looks. So like what you need to do is literally like improve both of them, But the thing is, like, you can't improve both of them at the same time. At least if you're like me, you can't really improve both of them at the same time, right? I spend like a majority of my time improving my looks first, and then, you know, improving my personality next, right? Which I'm in the process of still doing, right? I'm still in my mid 20s, and like, I still haven't even reached my potential. But yeah, the thing is, like, if you have a good physique and your personality is shit, then you're not a likable person. And the opposite is also not desirable, right? If you have a good personality and your body looks like shit, then no one's gonna take you seriously. So you need to have a good balance, right? A good physique and a good personality to match, right? But as I said, like, you can't work on those two things at the same time. So what I recommend is going after one thing for like years, not months, not weeks, not days, but years. And that's how you really build like an amazing body or like an amazing personality. Practice makes perfect, right? Whenever you get like the chance to go out and like practice your personality skills, not personality skills, but like your communication skills and whatnot, um, you need to go and do that, without being a pussy and like being like, okay, I don't feel like it. What do I do? That's letting your emotions control you. As a man, like, if you let your emotions control you, then you're not really a man, are you? So like, you need to be disciplined in that sense, and do what you did when you went to build muscle, right? What you don't feel like you didn't feel like you wanted to go to the gym, but you still went anyway, right? But there's the thing with the personality as well. Like, if you don't feel like going and cold approaching, you don't feel like going and like socializing, but you still go anyway. And there's no hierarchy of importance when it comes to like building your physique and building your personality, right? Because they're equally important. And I'm not gonna go into depth about like how to build your physique and things of this nature, because uh, there's a billion other videos on YouTube on how to do that, right? So you can go search that up. But in terms of building personality, there's not much videos on that, or like no one really talks about it that much, because it's not sexy, right? It's not like visually appealing to a person, because it's not really tangible, right? Your personality is your personality. Like, but like a aesthetic body is like, oh, you can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it, whatever, right? But there's not much videos on YouTube about personality, so like I'll teach you guys about that, or what I've learned so far, because I don't have the best personality either. So I think I might be like just one step ahead of you guys. So like, in terms of building a personality, like, it's different for every person, but like it's an enhanced personality, right? But when you talk to like as much people as you can, you sort of like piece together your own personality, like, unconsciously. Anyway, that's how it happened to me, and I've kind of realized that now. The more people you talk to, like, the more you like piece together your own personality. So my advice is just get social and like just talk to as many people as possible, especially if you're young. If you're older, like if you're in your mid 20s, you don't really have like that much to change about yourself, because you've already like created an identity for yourself, um, and that won't change for your whole life. You might change a little bit, you might change your belief systems a little bit, but your personality would just more or so remain the same. But if you're like a young person, like if you're like ages 14 to like I'd say like 20, um, then you would have like some work to do, because then like your personality wouldn't have been molded yet. So you need to go and like literally experience life, you know, and get outside and things like that. I know it's for like kids these days. It's really hard for them to do that because they're glued to their computer, they're glued to their phones. But literally like being social like helps a lot. Otherwise you're just gonna be a robot. Otherwise you're just gonna be a bot. You know. And you're gonna literally have no personality at all. And as I said, like your personality like kind of molds itself. If you don't mold it yourself, it kind of molds itself. If you don't get social, like by like 25, 26, 27, it gets like fully solidified. So like you literally don't have much time. If you're in the ages of like 24 to like 25. So yeah, a part of that confidence will come as you age as well. So like, what you need to do is get out there, get social, but like, you know, everything will come with time as well. A part of that will come with time as well. And in my mid 20s, I feel like I still could be more confident. I still, obviously, I haven't reached my potential yet. So I still think that I could be the best version of myself, which is why I'm documenting this on my channel, right? That's the best thing about self development, right? There's no ceiling or there's no barrier to like what you can achieve. When you reached a certain level, you need to think, okay, how can I make this better? How can I make this better, right? And when you do reach like a ceiling, or like, obviously like a plateau or whatever, you need to think, okay, that's my new baseline, and how can I, go up from there, So most people, like, their baseline is just existing, just doing nothing. So what you need to do is become a producer in sorts, and not a consumer, and your life will actually change as well. So that's a different topic for a whole nother video, which I will leave for a whole nother video. But yeah, I think this was good enough for this video, and I'll leave it here, and I'll catch you boys in the next one, Peace.